Hey guys, good morning. This is Erin from Erin's Beauty Minute, and I'm not sure why I make that my intro when, you know, obviously, you know where I'm from. So, I'm gonna stop doing that, but anyway, today, yes, you're seeing me with just out of the shower wet hair. I'm gonna be doing kind of I'm going to be doing like a rose gold sort of look, but I'm going to be doing it with 3 different palettes. I know that's crazy. So the first one is called, it's from Rimmel, and this is the Magnify Eyes Blush Edition. So all of these shadows look like this. So the way that I'm seeing it backwards in the viewfinder, but you're going to see it right when the video actually goes up. So I'm going to be using some of that. I'm going to go in with the CoverGirl Roses palette here. Their True Naked palette. You can sort of see that it has been loved. So I'm going to go ahead and use some of that today as well. And then we're going to use my favorite palette, which is the Nude Rose Gold that e.l.f. came out with, and it is gorgeous and again very well loved. You know, I've already done foundation and primer and set my face a little bit with the e.l.f. finishing powder in shade light medium. You'd think I'd know that by now, but in that shade. So, just gonna go ahead and get started. I also did my brows today, by the way. So that's kind of nice. I had forgotten to do that. And you can see, like, my albino-ness up there because that's where I have my towel. Yeah, oh well. Crap happens. But, anyway, I just felt like doing something like that. So I'm gonna move you a little bit closer in case you want to follow along. You can. I'm not sure I need to have you that close so you guys can sort of see all of my face. Also for the lips today, I don't hear anybody talk about them anymore, but the Jelly Flower lipsticks, I'm going to be using the Dream Purple today, and if you hadn't, just like if you didn't know about them, they look like this. They have the name of their brand, like the name of who they are on there, and it has a little button up here that if you push it, the lipstick comes out and you get a really pretty clear lipstick with a flower in there. Whether that flower is real or not, I really don't know, but these actually work for me and give my lips a nice natural color. I'm also thinking about topping it with this ColourPop shade called Chandelier. It's a very pretty pink situation, so I'm going to use this instead of the Kylie Jumi because at least it it's a nice shade and should work well. So I'm going to stop rambling and get on with this dang video. You know, I kind of wanted to make this like a story time video. And I'm actually going to. It's about my experience lately in the Sephora that I live near at. It was kind of disgusting in there. And you know, I understand that people want to swatch things before they buy them, you know, just to get an idea that they're not, you know, going home with crap. I totally understand that, but guys, it was disgusting in there. And I was just turned off by everything. But if you're following along, I'm going to go into this shade here. Probably just not going to do that. If you guys want a tutorial on the look that I'm going to do, then I will happily shoot one, but for now we just gonna do story time. But it was just, ugh. I mean, I've seen drugstores that have had their issues, but this was disgusting. You know, the swatches, if you will, were everywhere, you know, and I meet a friend of mine there, and I mean, the employees are taking unopened product, swatching it on their hands, and then you buy whatever it was they just swatched, and I'm like, I don't know where your hands have been. I don't want you touching my makeup or my potential makeup. Like, ugh. You know, and maybe that's just me after going through skin irritation because of something that happened to my shadows that I already have. I only have a Sephora kit because my brother got it for me, and I kept it because, like, I've kept it and used it because it was wrapped in plastic, like there was no way anybody got in there. And I was disgusted, needless to say. I've seen drugstores that were cleaner than that, you know? And it's just like, I was like, I'm never shopping here. Ever. Like, it was very much a turn off, and I was like, I'm not putting up with that. No, sir. So, I ended up going through that situation, and it remained being really, it just put a bad view of them. And then, I don't know if you watched another story time that I did. It was where I went into another store that was in the mall that I live near, and you know, they're making good business, good for them. But even from outside, I could see that, oh, there were knockoffs, and not good quality ones. Like, I saw some stuff on a shelf, and it was broken. I didn't even have to go in the store. And I was like, ooh, God, that is not good, people. Like, it's just not. So I did not have the greatest makeup experience that day. I was just like, ooh. And, you know, I did want to have some new makeup to try out. But the truth of the matter is, I've got so gosh darn much that there's really no reason for me to do that. But it was just nasty, and just, I felt really bad about it. But, like, my friend was like, this is normal, and I'm like, this is gross. Like, the only thing I wanted to really swatch was the Naked 3. And it was just horrible, guys. Absolutely horrible. And I couldn't believe that people were doing that. It was just like, really? Really now? So, I didn't end up doing that. I went and looked at the Bare Minerals, and, you know, obviously it's a little too pricey for me. But I at least, you know, I wanted to at least check it out and see what it would be like if I went ahead and did that. And it was too much. And oddly, that was the cleanest thing there. Like, really, it was the cleanest thing there. Like, I was just going, ugh. Like, my inner germaphobe was coming out, and I'm like, you know. I swear every time I am doing a video Hey guys, okay, so as you can probably tell by now, it's been a little bit of time. I have my robe on, and I had to turn off my camera because my phone was going off, and when I hit record to record the next half of my video, it didn't do that. So I will try to explain what the majority of what I did is on my lids right now. Obviously I'm a little off right now. I wasn't very happy with the fact that my camera didn't record it. But I was also telling you essentially the story about my experience with the Sephora that is near me, or near where I live anyway. Yeah, I was telling you what a nightmare it was, and just how unsanitary, and I don't like going into stores like that. I don't like seeing makeup be stored in that condition or out in the open like that, and nothing looks appealing at all. I don't like when people go to the drugstore and swatch. Like, take it home, keep your receipt, and if you don't like it, go back to the store and either exchange it for something you do like or get your money back. You don't need to go before you buy it because you're screwing it for the next person. Don't do that. It's gross. It's not right. Don't do it. So now that I'm off of that, because people do it all the time, and it pisses me off. For those of you who weren't quite sure what palettes I used, I went ahead and used the e.l.f. Nude Rose Gold palette here, which is well loved. It is my favorite palette of all time that I have, because I haven't done the, like, it just, even with high-end stuff that I've swatched before, still wins. Still wins. And then the next palette that I was able to go into is the Magnifies Blush Edition from Rimmel London, and it looks like this. Personally, it's in dinky packaging, but you know, hey, at least the stuff doesn't fall out. So I used this as well. And then, you know, we've talked a lot of times about CoverGirl's True Naked Roses palette, but I went ahead and used some of it as well. I know flip-flopping back between 3 different styles of rosiness can become a bit complicated, but hopefully I can clear up what was going on. If I remember correctly, I had shown you, actually, what the hell, I'll just show you, just tell you how I did it, even if you got to see the first half. So, when I went in with a transition shade. So the transition was this color here, as well as this shade, and this shade. Seeing a theme here? All 3 of those worked well to cover and even out the lid as a transition. You always want a good transition shade, and these 3 were one of them. So after that, I went in, I believe, I went into this palette here, the CoverGirl, and I remember after I got the dark shade on, I wanted to go in for something that was a little lighter, that would give it a little bit of sparkle, and not just this intense situation. And with that intense color, I had also put in this color as well, which, I mean, they're very similar to each other, but one's a little more purpley toned than the other one. So I went ahead and used both of those to make the dark part of my lid. And then, if I remember correctly, I went in with this shade, which is actually a very nice, like, highlighting shade. So this went on top of that darkness and lit it up a little bit so that it wasn't just so, well, it just wasn't so dark. And then, if I remember correctly, once again, I went into, for the crease color, I believe I went in, I went in with this shade right here, right, showing it? That shade right there, and it just sort of lightened things up in the crease. And it's also, I mean, it's not sparkly per se, but you know, it helped things out a little bit. It wasn't too intense of a crease shade, and if you can sort of see what was going on, some of it's probably worn off by now, which I do apologize for, but I had to charge my battery. I remember I also went in with, and this is in the Rimmel London palette, I went in with this shade right here, yep, that shade right there, and it gave my eyelid a good, it gave the crease a good shine as well, shiny on the finger, and you can't really see it too well. Oh, okay, yeah, you can. Okay, so the light's just right, awesome. So I went ahead and did that. And then I did go into the brow bone, and for the brow bone, what I did use, I went ahead and used some of this pinky shade that's in the e.l.f. Rose Gold, as well as a little bit of this white color from before. Then I ended up going ahead and going back into the Rimmel palette and taking this shade here, shading all over my brow bone, as well as applying a little bit of it to that darkness that we had there earlier. And I also went ahead and, from the CoverGirl palette, I did use some of that on the brow bone as well. I used this shade right here, and I'm going to show you why. So I'm going to go ahead in. So I've got these two. Now this particular shade right there, which was the very first one, it was the very first white shade there, and now I have the other shade here. This right here, I don't know if you can see that, but that shade right there, which is this one right here, it just did something for the lid that I wasn't expecting. So it did go in here, and I think it, you know, it just turned into a very beautiful color. And that's basically what I did for the overall eyeshadow situation. As far as going back in with the other stuff, like what else I used, some of you asked what the foundation is I use the Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation in the shade Rose Ivory. I will have to get more because it is almost out. For primer, I use the e.l.f. Cosmetics Blemish Control Face Primer. Very good if you're having some acne issues, minor or severe, very good. And then for the eyes, for the eyelids and stuff like that, I use the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Eyeshadow Primer. Definite win if you can get it. I used 3 e.l.f. highlighters to apply the cheek highlight today. I put all 3 of those on top of one of my favorite blushes, and this is a Super Shock Cheek from ColourPop Cosmetics. This is back when they were doing the Hello Kitty collaboration. They don't do that anymore, but I guarantee you that a color very similar to this is still on their website. I've found that when they discontinue a certain line or an item within that line, it seems to pop up that a color very similar to that is then made available. So I really don't know. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. But that's just kind of what I've noticed. To set my foundation, I used the e.l.f. finishing powder in the shade light medium. So it looks a bit like that. But there is a lighter one being advertised on their website. So definitely go check that out. Again, we went in with the nude rose gold by e.l.f. Cosmetics. If I can open the dang thing, what the crap? Jeez, it's like trying to break my nail off. So yep, this is what the rose gold by e.l.f. looks like. This is the magnifying blush edition, what it looks like. And our CoverGirl True Naked Roses palette. We've seen her lots, and we're going to keep seeing her over and over. As well, okay, so I'm getting off track here. So I also, for mascara, I used the Colossal Spider Effect Mascara by Maybelline. And for concealer, I know that this is totally out of order of which I'm mentioning it, but I went in with the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Concealer in the shade Fair. So it's definitely worth it. I will continue to use it. As far as a lip product went, I went ahead and used the Wet n Wild Mega Last Catsuit Lipstick in the shade Nudist Peach. Looked very good with what I was doing. You can also use this color from ColourPop. Unfortunately, all the writing has worn off, and so has a bunch of other parts of the tube. But on the bottom, that trusty little sticker says Chandelier. So you can go ahead, I mean, this look is very friendly for that. That is the color right there, and I almost used it. Almost. Thought about it. You could also have used the L'Oreal lipstick in 590 Blushing Berry. It's a very pretty tone like that, and it has a very pleasant scent for those of you who are not quite sure about scents. It smells great. Doesn't really leave you with any problems or anything like that. So, and I also mentioned lip care for when you guys, just a quick little tidbit on when you guys are, like, especially for regular makeup wearers, you need to know how to take care of your lips. So, as far as exfoliating goes, you can actually just use your toothbrush as you're brushing your teeth and just brush lightly your lips, and that can help exfoliate. And once you're done exfoliating, you really want to have good lip balms, especially at nighttime. So you're going to want to take, I mean, for me, during the day, I'm using like a little EOS or EOS, however it's pronounced. I use one of these. I don't exactly remember what the flavor is supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be like a tropical melon or something like that. And it's really good for the daytime, but for the nighttime when you really need the moisturization, I would say go with Carmex. You can, I mean, honey, at Walmart, you can get a pack of 3 of these tubes, and these tubes are going to last you a while. You can get 3 of these puppies there. Now you can also get a ton of EOS as well, which I did. I went a little cray-cray on the balms, okay, I know. I got influenced by one of Tati's Get Unready With Me videos, okay? Just don't judge me. So you can definitely use that. I mean, there's so much you can use. And just to let you guys know, I really am so sorry that the first clip did not get to meet with this clip. But we're gonna do the best we can and rock it out. Alright guys, I love you so much. All my info will be down below. Please subscribe if you liked this video. And if you did, hit the bell too, because that bell is going to notify you when I post a new video, which is what we want, right? Alright, I'm just kidding. Alright guys, I will see you later. Love you. Bye-bye.